Hello and welcome to this how-to guide for diverging and converging in team-based learning. Hello, my name's Tony Morgan. I'm part of the IDEES project team at the University of Leeds. We're running this project as part of our fellowship at the Leeds Institute for Teaching Excellence. Although our project is quite wide-ranging, in this video we're focusing on diverging and converging. First of all, let's start with the problem. Have you ever experienced a challenge when students are working in a team and some of the students are just not engaging? Perhaps some of the more confident students dominate the conversation, while some of the others act much more passively. They may be listening intently, but they're just not providing active input. Well, this can be detrimental to the team, but more importantly, it impacts the learning and the experience of individual students, particularly those who may be less confident, have more introverted personality types, or where English is not their first language. Diverge and Converge is a simple, effective and very inclusive approach to ensure all students are encouraged to engage during team-based activities. In the first Diverge step, everyone in the group is encouraged to provide their individual input and/or insights into a task, without being unduly influenced by other members of the group. In the second Converge step, the group works together to review the individual inputs and make team-based decisions regarding next steps. As part of our project, we've been carrying out research into the benefits of this approach. One of the major benefits we found was this approach really does enable inclusivity. It does this by providing a mechanism where all students feel comfortable and really encouraged to engage in team-based activities. It also improves the diversity of inputs by maximising the individual team member engagement. Additionally, it increases the quality of outputs, and it does this by using the diversity along with the combined power of the team to make decisions. What do our students say? Well, here are just a few examples of extracts from student reflective logs and essays. Rather than me read them out, I'll give you a chance to read them yourself. I'm sure you'll agree these are very powerful statements, and they're not the only ones. We've got lots of other evidence and inputs from students about the impact of this approach on their learning. So let's focus on the how-to guide. The Diverge-Converge approach is simple and easy to use, and we want the guide to be too. You'll see on the right-hand side, we've created this based upon a 4-step model. First step is environment and preparation. The second step focuses on diverge activities. The third step focuses on the converge activities, and the fourth optional step focuses on playback and reflection. To bring the approach to life, the guide includes an example based upon idea generation and prioritization, but by no means is the approach limited to developing ideas. It can be used for many other activities, anything really where team members need to provide inputs and then make decisions. So let's have a look at the first step in the how-to guide. It's all about environment and preparation. And the first part of that is really looking at options for a teaching and learning environment. The first option is the classroom. Typically we'd want a table for each team to work at, and also flip charts, post-it notes and pens. An ideal environment is something like a collaborative teaching room, such as the one shown in the photograph. Second option, we can equally run diverge and converge activities effectively online. For this, we need a video conferencing tool such as Zoom or Teams that has breakout rooms where we can keep a breakout room for each team, and a digital visual collaboration tool such as Mural or Miro or other virtual whiteboard to take the place of the flip charts, post-it notes and pens. The third option, and my personal favourite, is actually merging the two. It's having the classroom but using the digital technology. So we have a table for each team to work at, but we use a digital visual collaboration tool such as Mural or Miro or other virtual whiteboard for the students to work with and to be able to see their assets afterwards. So it's important to ensure an appropriate teaching and learning environment is in place. The other preparation activities are no different to the tasks we would carry out for any teaching. We need to ensure the team members have completed any prerequisite work required to be carried out before the specific diverge-converge activity. And we need, of course, to document and introduce the steps the students are going to carry out so it's very clear to them what they need to do. So here's what we'd need to do, for example, for an idea generation activity. We'd be making sure our classroom and or our digital environment is set up in place. For this specific activity, we have two design thinking techniques called Big Ideas and Prioritization Grid, so we'll be creating flip charts for them or creating the templates for them on a digital whiteboard. We'll be making sure the students have already carried out research into the problem area and really understand the stakeholders and the end users involved. Then, on the day itself, we would walk through the Big Ideas, Diverge activity, and the Prioritization Grid, Converge activities, so the students were very clear what they needed to do and provide opportunities for students to ask questions if they're not sure. We're now moving into the core steps of this activity. So step 2 is about diverging. In the diverge step, all students are encouraged to provide their individual and unique input into the activity. And to ensure all students feel comfortable and are not unduly influenced by others, they're instructed to carry out the diverge step and diverge activities in total silence. If we're running the activity in the classroom, we must enforce silence in the room. If we're running the activity online, actually it's a little bit easier because we can keep students in the main room on mute rather than in a breakout room. So we're now going to see how Diverge works in our idea generation example. And here's some of the instructions we would give our students. At this stage, team members diverge. We ask all students to think individually about the problem area. We ask them to take input from all their previous work, from the research they've done, their end user personas, empathy maps, as-is scenarios. These are design thinking techniques that they've already carried out, and their wider thinking. We ask them to post as many ideas as they can onto the Big Ideas chart, which starts out just a big empty box. And we ask them to do as many ideas as they can, not to worry about how good they are, not to judge them, just to get as many ideas as possible and be creative. Additionally, we say, create at least one wildcard idea each. What do we mean by this? Well, these are the sorts of ideas you think would never work, but wouldn't it be fantastic if we could do this? Because many of those ideas, when they have the team discussion, turn into something real. But very importantly, we ask all students to carry out this work in silence and not to look at the other students' ideas. They can do this by first just writing the post-it notes before they put in the flip chart, or if you're using a tool like Mural, there's a privacy option so people can't see other people's inputs. This way, nobody's influenced by anybody else. It's all their individual, unique and diverse input that we're after. So that's Diverge. We've now got a fantastic set of unique individual inputs from our students. We now move to step 3, Converge. And in the Converge step, students use the combined power of the team to review those inputs and make decisions. If you're running the activity in the classroom, it's important to ensure active discussions are taking place at each table. If you're running online, you really need to visit the breakout rooms regularly, make sure that active discussions are going on, make sure the students have the cameras on if possible. And we encourage the teams here to review and discuss each item, and then decide which items should be analysed further, prioritised or progressed. A certain level of facilitation may be needed to ensure all the team members are taking part in the discussion and the decision-making processes, and encouraging the more introverted students to actively engage as well. Let's now take a look at the Converge step for our idea generation example. And this is where we ask the student teams to converge, to review all the ideas they've posted on the Big Ideas chart, and we say everybody must take part in this discussion. We ask the students to select and review each of the ideas. Some of the ideas may be duplicates and can be removed. Some ideas may be linked, and so we say they can be grouped together. Some of the ideas may be updated and improved upon, or new ones added during the discussion. The big ideas are not fixed, they can be added and changed as we go. We ask the students to assess each idea and place it onto the prioritization grid. The prioritization grid has a vertical axis, which is all about value or impact and importance, and a horizontal grid, which is all about feasibility. So for each item, the team considers where they should place them on the grid, places the idea on the grid, and then finally, the team agrees the items they consider should be prioritised for further analysis. Typically, these ones are the top right of the prioritisation grid. The fourth step is all about playback and reflection. It is optional, but we think it's very, very useful, because playback and reflection are very powerful approaches for getting students to reflect upon what they've learned, and in doing so, deepen their learning. And a lot of research behind this shows it's a very, very powerful technique. Teams can be asked to play back to their own team, to the teacher, and or the wider class. And in this playback, we ask them to summarise their progress, review what they've learnt, and discuss challenges encountered. Particularly useful, though, are individual student reflective logs or journals. These describe what the student has done, what they've learned from this, and critically, what they might do differently in future based upon this learning. And by doing this, they're really surfacing and understanding the learning and the skills that they've developed. So it is very, very powerful. We really do hope you found this how-to guide on diverging and converging for team-based learning useful. A quick summary. It's a simple 4-step approach for engaging all students during team-based activities. It really does support diversity and enables inclusivity, and our research has shown this to be the case and highlighted the benefits. It improves diversity of inputs and greatly improves the quality of outputs. Best of all, it's simple and easy to use. You can use it in the classroom, you can use it online, or you can use it in the classroom using some of the digital tooling. Feel free to ask us questions. We love questions. And do let us know how you get on. And all we'd like to say is thank you very much and good luck.